Hey guys, Automated Garage back today with Project 4610 here. And we got all of our parts back from ACC Rebuilders. Let me show y'all what we got here. We resurfaced our flywheel, and this thing is heavy, super heavy. We got our new friction plate, new pilot bearing here. We resurfaced our pressure plate.
Take a picture of that from the side.
I would say that weighs about 100 pounds. It's pretty heavy.
Maybe more.
So we got all that done. We're not replacing the throwout bearing. They said they couldn't find that anywhere, but it is really smooth. There's nothing wrong with it. That wasn't the issue anyways. Our issue was that stickiness that the oil leak has caused. So we're gonna address that real quick before we put it back together. We have a new seal here we got from yesterday's tractor, and we're gonna hope it's right. I've been on a roll here lately of parts being wrong when I get it. There's our part number there. This is supposed to fit, I think 3, 4, and 5,000s, 3610s, 4656, and 6610s, and the 3600, 4600 series of tractors. So we're gonna get started. I got to drain the oil in the transmission, and then we're gonna pull this off. And from what I understand, I've never taken this apart like this before. That seal goes on this shaft inside of here, so the oil was leaking and getting slung all around in here, causing that issue that we had. And then we'll get to throw everything back together. So let's get started. All right, so this is the seal that we believe may be the culprit. It really doesn't look that bad, but it was only like $3. Of course, I paid more to have the daggum thing shipped here than anything else, because the closest New Holland Ford dealership's down in Mississippi. So we're gonna pop this seal out. Let's make sure it's right first. Julie, hand me that seal right there. That sure looks like it, don't it? So we're gonna pop that out and put this new one in. Sure doesn't look bad. So while we're doing all this making a mess and getting hydraulic fluid out, my PTO shaft seal was leaking. So we're gonna replace that while we gotta fill it back up with oil for doing all this. Girls got the bell housing cleaned up already. So for doing the seal is right here. You can see we gotta get that clip out, and then this bearing assembly slides off, and we replace the seal right up inside of there then. All right, so we got our new seal put in here, and we got RTV on here after we cleaned it, and we got RTV on the tractor there. And now the trick is we got to take this pipe here and we got to gob some grease up on it, because there's a washer. There's a washer that hangs down in there in that shaft that you got to hold up with grease before you slide the shaft back in. All right, PTO shaft is back in, all cleaned up and snug down. Let the RTV sit up, and then we'll torque it later. We are cleaning up this input shaft of the transmission now. It did have a gasket on it, so the gasket looks fine, so we're gonna RTV that. We're actually going to put some Teflon tape on these bolts, because they go through to the other side here. So that way we know we don't have a leak there. I have RTV gasket and then RTV on the piece that we're sliding on. Put that on, snug it up. We'll wait till the next day that we come back and torque it all down, let that RTV set up a little bit, and we should have a good surface. We cleaned all this up with brake cleaner. Like y'all saw earlier, got all the funk off of it. So that's where we're at now. All right, we got RTV. I actually use Yama Bond. It's such a good sealer, so I use Yama Bond on this surface and that surface. We got our gasket stuck back on here. We got our new seal drove in, so now we're gonna install this back on. And we do have a weep hole here. Weep hole faces down. All right, we're gonna Teflon the bolts. Dad's getting those ready. We're gonna put them in, snug them up. All right, so that's it for today. The girls have a ball game, isn't that right, Casey?
Mm-hmm.
So we got to leave, go to ball practice. So we'll pick up here the next day we have available. Let's go over here and put this together, and we should be able to really rock and roll and get the clutch together. And once we get the two halves back together, it's just a matter of putting all that stuff back together. Y'all saw us take apart. So we'll holler at y'all later. Hey guys, Automatic Garage back today with Project 4610. We're finally going to get her back together today. We got our clutch and our flywheel and everything that's been machined at ACC Rebuilders here in Memphis. We're gonna get this back together today so we can get it to do some work for us. So y'all stick on with us. We got our brand new pilot bearing. It just sits in here. It's got this retainer plate that's gonna go on with the flywheel here. So now we get to wrestle this heavy thing. All right, so clutch is all on, ready to go, ready to be put back together. Throw out bearings on, tighten up, put back together, clean up. Everything
that pushes it.
Everything that's wiped out. The girls cleaned all this up with brake cleaner when we did it. As I mentioned before, I replaced that seal in here that I believe was the leak. Took that off, resealed that with RTV also. So we're all ready. And another cool thing is this clutch does not have these spacers right here that were originally on it. Because the thought process behind that is you run this clutch so many hours, and then Ford had it where you could split the tractor and go to all this trouble, take the spacers out and wear your clutch that much more, but who wants to do that? So ACC told us when we rebuild your clutch, you don't use the spacers. They have it right on there, do not use spacers. So we're ready to go. We're gonna put y'all on time lapse and get this thing put together. All right, we should be good to crank her up. We went on and changed the oil real quick because we did remove that oil filter. So it was empty and it needed oil change anyways. We topped off our hydraulic fluid on the back. I went on and blew the air filter out real quick. Everything's all buttoned up, so she ought to start right up. All right, here we go. Let's see how the clutch works. All right, guys. Thanks, Dad, for helping me.
You're welcome.
This Automated Garage signing out. Y'all like, subscribe, comment. Hope y'all enjoyed the video on the 4610, getting it back together. We got a lot of work to do with it, don't we?
Yep.
Barn roof and a shop and everything else. So
all kind of stuff.
We're going to throw the loader on, have it ready for work. So this Automated Garage signing out. We'll holler at y'all later.